Everybody, welcome to our end of the year show, live to tape on show number 579 for Friday the 30th of December. We're taping it on Thursday afternoon. I'm your host, Tom Eamon. With me, of course, my co-host, the Commodore of the Beach Street Yacht Club, Julia Vadekind.
Hello.
In her gold lame top and her gold watch. We are celebrating not quite New Year's Eve here in Studio B, but
almost.
Well, almost. And speaking of which, I do have here on the, oh my God, I didn't know this was a vocal. I guess we can listen to that. You know who sang that? That's the original recording, or that guy Lombardo.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, well, this is traditional.
Welcome, everybody. We've got some bubbly. We thought it was the proper thing to do, even though it's Thursday night. You're watching this on, I'm going to make a mess here, Julia. This came out of your fridge. Oh my God, what if I can't get this cork out?
Oh, that would be a serious problem.
That'll be really croutonic.
Yes.
How long has this been in your fridge?
Forever.
Like how long?
A couple of years, probably.
Here it goes. It's coming, Julia.
Yay! Yay, yay, yay.
Oh.
Well done.
Okay.
Even the whole thing?
You want the cork?
Yeah.
What are we going to do with the cark? As they say in Ireland.
Yeah.
Cark, Ireland. We've never done this before, Julia.
No.
We did have when we celebrated our 500th show. Remember who our guest was at our 500th show?
No.
You know? Magnus the Magnificent
yes.
was our guest.
Yes.
This, of course, is not our 500th show. It's almost our 600th show. We're to 579 as we pour a little bit of champagne.
Mm-hmm.
To celebrate the end of the year, we do, 2 shows a week, 50 weeks a year, plus or minus. And here we go, Julia, 579. Welcome back. You've been here now. This is your 4th show already.
Well, already.
4th show since you got out of the convalescent home. How you feeling? Cheers.
Cheers.
How you feeling? You doing okay? Getting used to being back home? Excuse me.
Mentally, I'm feeling 1,000% better. Physically, I'm
still not quite walking.
Still not there.
Well, we'll see how you're doing after this show. You're kind of on an empty stomach.
I know, I should get it. More interesting.
Empty stomach, Julia is, and we're live to tape, so we don't have any comments, but you can comment while you are watching the show live while you're watching the show on Friday when it airs. We are to the pre-start. This is we've been using this photo for a few shows now because we've been talking about Australia. So this is the yacht Thorson from the Royal Yacht Club of Victoria. in Australia, down by Alistair Murray, down by Melbourne. And thanks for that photo. Just a sad note to start today's show and the wrap up the year. Was he the greatest of all time? You know who that is, Julia?
Pelé.
Pelé. He died today, of course. Most of you will know that today, Thursday. His real name, which I never knew, was Edson Arantes do Nascimento. Sorry for my Portuguese.
Yes.
Obviously from Brazil, 1940 to 2022. He's got to be the greatest of all time, right?
No question. Conrad met him when he was 16.
This is your late great husband.
Yes.
What was the occasion?
Well, because he was already a soccer star in Brazil at the time, and
Conrad was running ships to Brazil.
Yeah, he was a captain of a German ship arriving and Pelé arrived barefoot, of course, but in a jacket, and they struck up a conversation that lasted over the years.
Well, he's no longer with us, sadly, but a lot of people would say he was the greatest of all time. FIFA says he is. Regardless, Pelé, may he rest in peace.
Indeed.
I want to thank, we had him on the show on Tuesday, Captain Jack, John Schaefer from Annapolis, the USA, who helped us a lot. He knows so much about offshore sailing. And the Sydney Hobart in particular, he was with us on Tuesday's show's our show number 578. Captain Jack, thank you very much indeed. This is his celebrated yacht, is Catalina 445, Captain Jack's Velocity. Thanks again, John Schaefer, for helping us out with that show. Julia?
Yes.
Do you know what day it is today?
I don't.
Do you see the show note at the top of the show?
Yes.
It said, "It's so good, but is it so bad?"
Oh, yes, I did see that.
You saw that?
Yes.
You know what that's about?
Mm-mm.
Today is National, that's your only clue.
Bacon?
It's National Bacon Day.
Oh, yay.
December 30th. I'd never heard of this, but there's nothing I like more, I must admit, than bacon.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yes, I eat it frequently, and it's a nice keto addition.
Well, it's maybe, but it's got, processed meat. It's not good for you.
Well, it's not too processed.
It's not correct, Julia.
Oh, yes.
I love bacon.
I do too.
The crispier the better. I like it so crispy that it's like shoe leather.
Oh.
I do. You know it.
But crispy shoe leather.
Well, crispy shoe leather, of course, but I like it crispy. Okay, that's in the U.S. at least. It's National Bacon Day. It is so good, but apparently not so good for you. I don't know what the world would be without bacon. That gets us to the starting line, and I got to go back because I have that nice cannon for the starting line, and we're still using, and we will for some time, I think, the starting line of the race. Wednesday? Sorry, it was Boxing Day. It was Monday for the 2022 Rolex Sydney. What is that? Rolex Sydney Boat Yacht Race? My graphics department messed that up. Sydney Harbor Yacht Race.
Yeah.
And I like really that they call it a yacht race. I think that is really good. Which gets us, of course, to our opening video. The Coach's Corner with our dear friend John Emmett of the Great Britain.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy, wishing you a very happy new year. This is currently my second take, so I can't remember what I've said and what I haven't. It's very windy Weymouth, as you can probably tell. Hopefully my friend is doing a good job with the sound, and you can see behind, it's looking pretty wintry with all the trees looking very bare, no leaves there at all. And it's just so nice to have spent this time with family recently. I think you only miss things when they're gone. I know that sounds an easy thing to say, but it's so easy to take things for granted. And I've just had a wonderful time. I think it was 15 of us sat round breaking bread, and these things are hard to quantify. But that family time is very important, and I really missed it last year, when there was the pandemic and people were ill and we couldn't meet up. And it's so important just to have that core. This is the last one of these that is going to be on the Coach Yourself to Win page. We're going to be going to Sailing Illustrated page so we can have all the likes, all the shares, all the comments in one place, and hopefully get back to well over 1,000 views on each show. I'm going to keep it brief, so I can't remember exactly what I said, but we will be starting those smart or even smarter goals next year. So now is the time to think about your goal setting and those very important New Year's resolutions. And it's one of the things that people make it look easy, but the people who are successful, they just put in the hard work. And a lot of the time it can take years and years, and just putting in the hard work is so important, whatever you're doing, that there aren't any shortcuts. A lot of people on social media try and sell you shortcuts, but there really isn't any. So we're going to start that from the new year. So I'm keeping it short. I think I'm still a bit tipsy from all my family time, and wishing you all a very happy new year and a really successful 2023.
And to you, John Emmett, we really appreciate his videos.
Yes.
He does
He's
one.
looking good too.
And he is looking good. He looks happy and relaxed. I talked to him, texted a long text with him this morning. The situation in China, as we all know, is not correct. They've abandoned the zero COVID policy because they had to. They couldn't keep people locked in. And whatever there's several variants over there that apparently are just now being experienced in Europe, and I don't know. But it's highly transmissible. They've got hundreds of millions of cases.
I know.
The hospitals are overrun. John told me that Lily, who's his Chinese wife, who's there doing television, that both of her parents have it. Oh. And, I don't know how old they are. I didn't ask him, but he said, no, they're okay. But the problem is getting meds. Mm-hmm. And if people die, the problem is getting a crematorium. Yes. The crematoriums are just...
I've heard a bit about it, but it is sad, and it's going to get worse.
Sadly, sorry to use the word sad again, it is. But John Emmett, thank you very much. John Emmett Sailing, get to the front of the fleet, our regular top of the show segment. Appreciate it very much. You're watching a special live to tape year-end show as we change from 2022 to 2023. We're taping it Thursday afternoon for airing at our regular time, 1300 Pacific on Friday. And let's get right into the Sydney Hobart, because we covered that, at least the first, the line honors winners, with this picture of Andu Comanche and the press statement saying Andu Comanche won line honors, as you probably all know, in the 77th edition of the Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race, marking a triumphant return for the Super Maxi. The 100-foot yacht crossed the River Derwent finish line just before 1 a.m. local time on Wednesday. So it was an hour. It was 1 day, 12 hours and change, I think, was the time, or just short of that, with a time of, there it is, 1 day, 11 hours, 56 minutes and 48 seconds. Now, Rolex, we've been talking about how fantastic Rolex does with their videos from every event they cover, for every event they cover. And there's some more Rolex videos. We want to show you the one that's now come out since the line honors winners were known, and here it is.
Spectacular, intense, captivating. The first of two champions emerge as line honors is decided in the 77th edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. Ahead of the race, the contest between four immaculately prepared and professionally crewed 100-foot maxes to be the first boat to finish was highly anticipated, with all four skippers determined to come out on top.
All the boats are very similar in speed and performance. I'm expecting a really tight battle.
Downwind's our specialty. It'll be a very tricky race for all four boats.
We're really going for line honours in the race. We'd also love to be first out of the heads.
Second place will not do. It's win or nothing.
After a congested, action-filled start, the team on Andu Comanche quickly regained their rhythm, and true to his word, John Winning Jr. set a searing pace, leading down the New South Wales coast and across the Bass Strait. 1 day, 11 hours, 56 minutes and 48 seconds after leaving Sydney, the experienced and talented crew completed the course, 26 minutes ahead of their closest rival, Law Connect, runners-up for the second year in succession. skipper John Winning Jr. accepted the J.H. Illingworth Challenge Cup to the cheers and support of friends, family and spectators who, despite the late hour, filled the race village in Hobart to celebrate the team's impressive achievement.
Since getting the boat, we just set our expectations on this race as the Everest of what we can achieve. Just amazing to be able to do it with my dad, with my friends, and obviously the icing on the cake of an amazing year.
Meanwhile, the race for the overall victory and the coveted Tattersall Cup continues to develop as the remainder of the fleet presses south in this enthralling challenge.
Look at those conditions.
Join us again for more updates from the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race.
I love that.
It breezed up big time.
Yeah.
Well, that I think is a superb video.
Yes.
Congratulations. This is a great race. It's a great club, the CYCA. The winning
Yes.
family has won.
Yes.
Senior and junior, they're going to keep the boat. They announced, I think we said this on the show on
Right.
Tuesday, they announced that they are going to keep the boat in Oz. They've chartered it from Russian interests, sailed it around from Antigua through the canal and up, or down, I guess.
Well, they can sail it all year long.
Well, they can. And bravo Zulu to them, but bravo Zulu to Rolex, who just do a fabulous job
Absolutely.
for our sport.
Yes.
An excuse to have some more champagne. So, Julia, now let's get into you heard them talk about the Tattersall Cup, which, as you know, is the trophy emblematic of the overall winner on corrected time. And here is a Channel 10 news report about the winner.
The crew of Andu Comanche is enjoying a well-deserved rest tonight after their early morning arrival into Constitution Dock to claim line honours in the Sydney to Hobart. Our reporter, Ashley Nelson,
This
has
is
the latest.
Doxa. This is more stuff on Andu
Well, it has
Comanche.
been a big night for Andu Comanche, and they are backing it up today. I don't think they've had too much sleep, but Sam Fay, who is the team manager and also crew member, joins me now. Sam, how are you feeling after such an emphatic victory?
Yeah, no, we're feeling fabulous. You know, it's great that all the hard work that we've put in over the last couple of months has paid off, and we came in just after 1 o'clock this morning, and yeah, it has been a long day of celebrating, and a lot of the guys are still at Customs House.
Tell me about the tradition of Customs House, and are you the only one out here cleaning up on deck?
No, well, you know, the great thing about this yacht race is that, you know, although we were first across the line, is there's still, you know, yachts coming in pretty much every hour for the next couple of days. So the bar fills up, and it's great to congratulate all of those that are coming in after us.
John Winning Jr. last night, who was the skipper of the boat, said that you would be back again next year. Can you confirm your place as part of the crew as well?
Yeah, we'll be back next year, and you know the team is relatively new. We've only been together for 6 months since the boat came back from Europe, and we've sailed really well. And you know, I guess the Rolex Sydney to Hobart Yacht Race was the pinnacle of the last 6 months of training and the crew coming together, and yeah, we'll certainly be back next year.
Now, conditions were pretty favourable for you guys, but they're expected suddenly coming in for these smaller boats. What kind of conditions will they expect out there tonight?
Well, certainly we experienced nothing short of champagne sailing, really, but yeah, for those that are still to around Tasman Light, it's going to be quite a strong southerly that's forecast, and you know, we hope they all go well and come in safely and in one piece.
Sam, congratulations on your line honours. Of course, the race does continue with the overall honours on the line. The Tattersall Cup still to be won.
And they've just had the prize giving down there this morning. It's Friday morning down there, but champagne sailing, Julie.
I heard that.
Andy Rose loves that expression when somebody starts a press release out with champagne conditions.
Yes.
But I'm sorry that I didn't introduce that right, because I forgot I had that video. I found it at the last minute, stuck it in a really nice Channel 10 news. News first, Channel 10 interview, dockside interview with the team, the winning team.
I've been impressed with, especially with the women who've been announcing and following up on this. They've all done a really good job.
Well, they're knowledgeable.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm impressed too. And we should, you know, Nick Douglas as well does a good job. We talk about her.
Yes.
She's issued a lot of videos, and some of them are even on the Rolex YouTube channel. So she must have struck a deal with them, which is good as well. So bravo Zulu again to the winning senior and junior, the winning family, as well as the winners of the race, at least the line honors. Now let's get to the Tattersall Cup.
I think, as an aside, I think it would be nice to have a surname of Winning.
You think?
Yeah, you'd always be winning.
What if you lose?
Well, it was a mere
Detail?
detail.
I
Yeah.
don't know. So now let's go to this video. This is the yacht Celestia. You can see how they're reefed down to almost to the first spreader, the top spreader, because it really did breeze up, and we knew that was coming. Everybody predicted it, and that southerly or southwesterly did come through in the smaller boats. And this fabulous shot I ran on my Facebook page yesterday, this courtesy of Carlo Borlenghi, our longtime Italian snapper photographer who's been with every Italian America's Cup team. And as they're coming into, I guess that is around, they're going to round the corner and go up into Storm Bay. The Tattersall Cup, Bravo Zulu Celestial, the overall winner. Here again is Channel 10 with the details.
After missing out last year due to penalties, Celestial has made sure there was no such dramas this time around in the Sydney to Hobart, and it has just been named the overall winner of the famous race. Our reporter Ashley Nelson caught up with its skipper after docking.
Well, the Sydney to Hobart has been a fantastic event, and one boat that has sailed the journey particularly well is Celestial. Sam Haines, the skipper, joins me now. This is your 11th time. How good has this journey been for this boat this time round?
Oh, it's been fantastic. We're so happy to, provisionally be the leader, IRC for the Tattersall Cup. Yeah, it was a great race, very tight. A lot of boats in the same bit of water competing. It was just fantastic.
Pretty rough conditions towards the end there. How did you fare?
Yeah, it did get rougher and rougher. It was relatively easy sailing for most of the race until just after we finished Bass Strait and came in from the east coast, or eastern side of Tasmania, and it just got windier and windier, which was expected. And then across Storm Bay, the northerly was blowing really hard, and it was quite a brutal finish in the do, and where again these bullets of wind were coming down, as you probably saw yesterday, and we didn't get relief until we actually did finish.
Now, we're always interested in line honours, but really the overall honours is where everyone can compete. Last year you got close, but it was a penalty that cost you, and that was because you didn't answer your radio. How were you with the radio this year? I bet you answered it many, many times.
Yeah, the radios were fine, and yes, we made sure that there weren't going to be any, other mistakes like that.
After last year's disappointment, how close were you to giving it away and not coming back to the Sydney Hobart?
Yeah, look, it was definitely something I was thinking of, it was on my mind. I was pretty close to not competing ever again or giving it a miss. But we, as a crew, got together and really decided that we were going to keep on sailing, and I'm glad we did because it's the sport we love.
Sam, we are so happy that you came back to the race, the official presentation for the Tattersall Cup to take place tomorrow morning.
Now, do you see the name of the sponsor over her head?
Sydney Animal?
Sydney Animal Hospitals.
Hospitals.
This guy's a vet.
Oh.
The guy who is the owner of that boat, we're going to tell you some more about him here. The owner of Celestial, who almost won the race last year, except for the point, the time ding they took for not answering their radio or doing their proper, there's some time when you assign check-in times. But this is the yacht Celestial. I love their graphics and the painting on the boat. Mm-hmm. This is from sailworld.com. It was never going to be anything but emotionally charged when Sam Haines, who you just saw in that video, and his Celestial crew were crowned overall winners of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. Haines and some of the same crew lost the race win last year after being penalized for an infraction of the rules, but accepted last year's second place gracefully. On winning the CYCA 628 nautical mile race, Haines said, quote, "I'm screaming loud and proud. It means everything, especially after last year. We put together a program targeting this race." I think he had the same crew, in fact.
Pretty much, yeah.
"It's like an elation," the quote continues. "It's huge for me and the crew. I can't believe it. It's a bit of a life changer," an excited Haines said. And that's John Curnow writing. He is the editor of sailworld.com in Australia, so he is the counterpart to our friend Richard Gladwell, and has done a lot of coverage for this race as usual, and he's a good man and a good writer. Here they are coming into Hobart, and obviously by the time they got there it was sunny. It was quite some hours after the Super Maxis finished. Sam Haines in Australia. Bravo Zulu to him and his victorious team aboard Celestial. There's a look at Mr. Haynes, as you saw in that video. And here are the crew members' names: David Chapman, Wolf Wilkins, Callum Cecil, Lewis Brake, Harry West, James Dagg, Jack McCartney, Malcolm Parker, and Tasmanian yachtsman Troy Grafton. Bravo Zulu to them. Here's a look at the conditions in the Derwent. That northerly that blew through.
Right.
And this is, I mean, you look, it's, as the Aussies say, it's blowing proverbial dogs off chains. Caused a couple of rescue issues or tough, difficult situations out on the water. Here is the first one. There was actually a dramatic rescue in the Sydney to Hobart. And once again, we turn to Channel 10 for the report.
They had been warned of horrific conditions, and the perils of ocean racing have been realised by one entrant in the Sydney to Hobart. In a dramatic rescue, the crew of Huntress was plucked to safety after a sickening 24 hours.
Adrift in the rough waters of the Tasman Sea, Huntress left rudderless after running into a natural enemy, large bony fish.
It's definitely for me the most sunfish that I've ever seen on a trip up and down the coast. Them all different sizes, didn't we? We saw one that was as big as the boat, and it wasn't that far away, so it was quite.
It was massive, and they're just such a lump of meat, so much weight that they just do so much damage.
Unable to continue, Huntress was forced to call for help and waited out in sickening conditions before their sea saviours helped transfer them to the safety of Flinders Island.
It was a long day with lots of seasickness on the boat because of the motion. Just being at the mercy of the waves.
Conditions challenging for many of the smaller boats. Enterprise skipper Captain Kirk putting pause on his journey to answer the distress call of fellow competitor Koa.
One of the first rules to sea is if somebody's in trouble, you stop and help.
So while some boats have had their journey cut short, others have enjoyed champagne sailing, putting them right in contention for overall honours and the Tattersall Cup. Celestial in the box seat to claim the win, but it's a nervous night ahead as standings are finalised.
Provisionally, we're in really good shape for the overall. Of course, this is the best result we've had. Last year we did really well as well, in addition.
Failure to answer a radio call during last year's Sydney to Hobart, seeing them relegated to second and almost not come back.
I definitely was close to, no, that's it, I'm kind of done with the sport.
But it could be an 11th time lucky for the skip, a journey south well worth it. In Hobart, Ashley Nelson for 10 News First.
Again, Bravo Zulu to them. Nice video. She does a great job.
Yes.
And I want somebody buy a beer for that guy on me. I'll reimburse you. That guy, Captain Kirk, Kirke.
Yeah.
Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
And the name of his boat was?
I don't know.
Enterprise.
Oh, Enterprise.
It was on his shirt. It was on. You got to watch this stuff. I just noticed that when we were watching that video.
Yeah, nice.
Bravo Zulu to Celestial and that team now. And okay, there was some damage. They ran into a fish or something. But here was a really scary situation. Those of you who follow my Facebook page or the Sailing Illustrated Facebook page, I reported this after hearing from Katie Pettibone about her partner. And I posted scary graphic story behind this photo, that is Moneypenny, the yacht. Suffice to say, our longtime friend, and we were on an AC team together, David Blanchfield, better known as Ratty, who grew up in Australia and now lives here in California, just up the street from us. We often see him and his partner, Katie Pettibone, at St. Francis Yacht Club. She's a longtime member and a dear friend. She told me that a couple days ago that he was injured on the foredeck in the latter stages of the race. David is resting comfortably in a Hobart hospital after surgery. This is what I posted on Facebook. After surgery, repair his badly broken leg. Well, that's what the news reports were. Best wishes, Ratty, for a speedy recovery. He actually didn't break his leg, as it turns out. It was badly lacerated. And I've texted with Katie today at some length. She said, no, the initial reports were wrong.
Yeah.
It's just badly lacerated. And he's now in Sydney. He's already been transferred to Sydney. I don't know if he's out of hospital or but I'm sure he's under medical attention. And that photo of that boat from Bow Caddy Media, we appreciate very much them letting us use that. Here's a nice picture of Katie Pettibone, our longtime friend, fellow St. Francis member, and David Ratty Blanchfield from Australia, who now is living here in California. Some more about this incident. It is pretty gruesome. This from the Australian version of the Daily Telegraph, another Bow Caddy Media photo. Sydney to Hobart yacht race horror, injury, and drama aboard Sean Langman's Moneypenny. It's the headline. A Sydney to Hobart sailor on Moneypenny suffered a serious leg injury and was triaged for hours aboard the bucking boat flooded with tons of water. Warning, graphic content.
Oh, can you imagine?
Sydney to Hobart skipper Sean Langman helped triage injured crewmate David Blanchfield with his own, and this guy had a broken, I've seen some video with him, that is with Sean Langman. He had a suspected broken hand that was wrapped up in a bandage. And he was, quote, pushing bits of stuff back into Ratty's lacerated leg after a shocking accident aboard his Moneypenny yacht. Well-known and respected sailor Blanchfield, a 28-race veteran, was on Wednesday being treated in hospital after being washed from the bow. He was up, they were taking her, I think putting a staysail up or taking it down, I can't remember. And on the bow of the 70-footer to the mast when hammered by a breaking wave in nasty conditions at sea the second night and morning of the race. So he was blown back and apparently lashed his leg on one of the shrouds or the mast or something. Langman, a senior statesman of the Sydney to Hobart, who has been aboard the smallest and largest yachts in the event and who also in the deadly 1998 race, and was also in the deadly 1998 race, and his experienced crew scrambled to get Moneypenny's bowman below decks to safety. After attending to him and cutting away his wet weather clothing, they contacted race officials speaking to a doctor over the radio about their injured mate. Quote, I did the first triage, few ligaments sticking up. He'd busted all the muscle below the knee. It had opened up. We had to push it in. Oh, my God.
Makes my knee hurt.
We had to push it in. I mean, these are Aussies. Come on, these guys are great. So that's the story from the Daily Telegraph. But wait, there's more. We got him below. He was in a lot of pain. No shit, you think?
Yeah.
We gave him painkillers and got him into the bunk. He was yelling orders at us soon after that. Quote, as continues, we had a compression bandage on to keep him together and got advice from the doctor. The advice was that what we were doing was right. So bravo Zulu to everybody on that boat,
right.
And to Sean Langman. And that's Amanda Lulham, probably, writing in the Daily Telegraph today in Australia. So here's another shot. I really like this guy. He is a hard worker. He's a super sailor, terrific guy, one of the nicest, lowest key, calmest guys, but he on a yacht. And I've not raced offshore with him, but I've sailed around the buoys with him. And their dog, I think. They live just up here near Sacramento. I think she's a lawyer. Katie Pettibone. Injured but okay. David Ratty Blanchfield. We wish him a speedy recovery.
They look very comfortable together. Aren't they wonderful?
Now, Julia, you may want to turn away from your monitor.
Why?
Because I have the real deal here now. That is his lacerated right leg that they stuffed the stuff back into. Not broken, thank goodness.
Yes.
But it's stitched up now and cleaned up, and he's apparently in pretty good shape. Has made it back to Sydney, or so Katie tells me today. So to Ratty, best wishes
Absolutely.
For a speedy recovery. And you should see all the nice comments on my Facebook page about Ratty from people all over the globe who saw the note that I posted on Sailing Illustrated and on my Facebook page.
I didn't read that today.
Terrific guy. Yeah. So I hope he's already well and truly on the road to recovery.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us for this special live to tape year-end show number 579, which brings us to this day in history. You know, Julia, what happened on the 30th of December.
What year?
100 years ago today, 1922. Thought this was auspicious. Here's your first clue. Not a very good clue, but it's a clue.
Well,
Do you see the Can you see the Cyrillic at the top of the page?
Yes.
That's a clue.
It is.
Forget about the signatures, none of which I'm sure any of us will recognize. Here's another clue.
Oh, the formal founding of the Soviet
Union. Well done. It was on this day in 1922 the creation of the USSR formally proclaimed in Moscow from where else but the Bolshoi Theater.
Of course.
Soviet Union organized as a federation of Russian states, Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, the Belarusian SSR, and the Transcaucasian SSR. And I was going to put a map in, but with all that's going on over there, interesting, 100 years ago. And, you know, John Emmett has said, look, there's a lot more behind what's going on with Ukraine and trying to keep Ukraine in Russia. And here is the 100th anniversary of that original formation.
Yes.
And that's obviously not lost on John Emmett and a lot of other probably Europeans, but particularly, I'm sure, on President Putin.
Yes.
And some others. So maybe that gives some, what's the word I want? Some further background to this whole madness that's going on in Ukraine. So this day in history, 100 years ago today, I did not know that.
No.
Changing from gears here a bit, shifting gears to what I think for me was one of the joyous moments of the year. We're about to have a little bit longer video than we normally run, but a video interview with the acclaimed Pip Hare. Remember, she won that race around the British Isles, and then did very well, not as well as she'd hoped in the race down to the Caribbean here. And let's see how she does next year in the Vendée Globe. But for me, at least, this is one of the highlights of 2022. Have a look at her video.
It's the end of 2022, and I can't quite believe how quickly this year has galloped away. And you know, I'm super aware of time and how quickly it passes, and always really worried that I'm going to squander an opportunity through not being focused and not constantly driving forward. So setting objectives is a very important part of me making sure that we as a team and me as an individual athlete get the most out of what we're doing. At the beginning of 2022, we kind of focused our objectives around the race calendar in 2022, and it was all about me learning to compete with foils, but also for the team, because we're such a new team and many of the people working with us don't come from the world of offshore racing. We wanted to kind of set objectives of the team, learning how to manage races, learning how to get me and the boat prepared for races, learning how to work with our partners and work with the media and tell the story and make sure everybody is getting value out of what we're doing. We started with a training session in Cascais in the early year, which was kind of, for the team, it was getting to learn what life was like on the road. For me, it was a really intensive period of working with coaches and kind of like the hard jump in the deep end of going fast with foils. And that really set me up for the year. And I need to say a massive thank you to Jack Patel and Ben Schwartz, who came and coached me during that time. We went into our first race, which was the Bermuda Meal. It was the team's first opportunity to do a race start, and it was fairly low key. I think they kind of delivered that really well. I felt like it wasn't my best race, and I struggled a bit with I think the pressure of the race start. We then almost straight away went into the Vendée Arctique, and that was our first opportunity of hosting partners at a race start. So for me, the race went a lot better. I was gutted that it was cut short, but I had taken the lessons I'd learned from the Bermuda Meal into the Vendée Arctique and was really starting to be able to kind of press the performance pedal a bit more and had more confidence in myself. And again, the team, it was kind of in at the deep end for them because they'd never hosted sponsors before at a race start, but everybody walked away having had the most incredible experience. It was so positive and we enjoyed it. In the middle of the year, we did a Cows Week where we hosted Medallia, and again, a first for many people in the team. It went really well. We enjoyed being there, and then rapidly that followed Round Britain and Ireland. So Round Britain and Ireland was not an IMOCA racing event, but it was a very important British event, and I'm passionate about supporting British offshore racing. For me, it was the chance to sail with some incredible sailors and learn from them. One of the struggles that you have as a solo sailor is, there's no one to bounce ideas off. All your drive comes internally, and so to be able to sail with 4 excellent sailors, all with different ideas and different expertise, taught me a lot. I would have loved for there to be more wins, but there wasn't. But I still came out of that race having learned a huge amount, and Medallia won line honours, which was just a brilliant thing for us. Moving into the second half of the year, there was not so much sailing for me. We struggled a little bit with the weather, but then it gave us an opportunity to kind of invest in sorting out some of the little niggles that I discovered earlier on in the year. But our long-term objective for 2022 was just to consolidate everything for me and for the team. And the Route du Rhum was kind of going to be our proof of our learnings within the year. Now, just before the Route du Rhum, I decided that I would have a crack at a world record attempt as well, which was unfinished business from 2020. And it was touch and go whether I had a go at that world record, but in the end I did, and on a very, very windy morning, I started in the dark, I set off and managed to break the outright world record for a monohull solo around the Isle of Wight, and it was a really great thing to do. Great that I managed it on my second attempt, and I'm super proud of the fact that it's an outright world record. It's not a women's record, it's a world record, and one of the things that I'm passionate about this class is it gives me the ability to compete on equal terms with everyone, and it doesn't matter how old we are, what gender we are, what we look like, how physically big we are. We compete on equal terms, and I love that aspect of it. And so to have gained that world record meant a lot to me going into the Route du Rhum. I wasn't super confident going into the Route du Rhum. I had a whole year's worth of learnings behind me, but the fleet has grown in the last year. There are a lot of new boats launched. It's getting tougher and tougher to compete in this class, and I'm not a massively confident person, and I think I was daunted by the lineup for the Route du Rhum, and although I knew that we were looking good as a team and the boat was strong and we were well prepared, I think my confidence was knocked a bit by being amongst the presence of people who I really, really respect. And I maybe tempered my initial ambition for the Route du Rhum a bit because I was worried about finishing, I was worried about damaging the boat, as well as being daunted by the competition. And I wouldn't say I had the best start to the race, but there's something that happens when I spend a bit of time on the water. It's like I find myself again, and I find my strength, and I remember, who I want to be and who I can be, and that came back to me after a few days out on the Route du Rhum, and and I was able to find an opportunity to overtake a lot of the fleet. And I spent the last 3 days of the race in 10th place, and that was way beyond my expectations at the beginning of the race, and even with a damaged mainsail, and I didn't finish the race in 10th. I was overtaken in the last 8 hours by 2 boats, but I'm immensely proud of that finish. It did show that I've grown, we've grown, we're going in the right direction. You know, we set good objectives at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year, we can turn around and say we did well. But there's no cut-off to it. There's no end. You know, we take this and we roll it over into our next objectives, and we're always looking to 2024, and everything that we do as a team is taking us towards making the most of 2024. And so we're definitely celebrating our success in 2022, but we're using that to make sure we are as focused and as strong through 23 into 24. And it's part of an exciting journey, and there's so much more to do.
Now, how cool is that?
Oh, it is. I mean, she's wonderful. Yeah.
I mean, Bravo Zulu.
Yes.
For me, she's the high point of the sailing season. We can talk about Slingsby. We can talk about the Governor's Cup and all those fantastic kids that sail in the Gov Cup. We can talk about, you know, everything else. But she defines in that early part. Every sailor ought to watch that.
Yeah.
Every aspiring, especially young sailors,
yes,
male or female, everybody ought to watch that, because she talks about how hard it is to put together a campaign, whether it's a single person campaign, you know, a single-handed campaign, an Olympic campaign, an America's Cup campaign, taking, you know, as a lot of us do, taking our boats out for a season of competition at home, and maybe we go to the nationals, but it's still a campaign. She's talking about having to entertain sponsor partners, having to get her teammates all together and to understand that, to have to deal with the media, to have to deal with the logistics. And, you know, Andrew Pindar and Andrew McIrvin and some of the others, John Emmett, some of the other Brits have been telling us all year what a cool gal she is.
Yes.
And, you know, Bravo Zulu.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. And I love the way she frames her stuff and that each is a step forward.
Absolutely.
And there are no ends. It's just a step forward.
Well, no, she's looking forward to 2023, and of course then to the Vendée Globe.
Yeah.
In 24. So may we raise a, if she's watching, hopefully she is, but if she's not, one of you tell her that we're raising a glass.
Absolutely.
To her. I'm going to go up here to camera too, Julia, so we can be proper here with a shot. But it gives us a chance to have another swing of shot. Fantastic, Pip here. You make us all proud. Somebody buy her a glass of whatever she likes. If it's soda water, buy her one. Bravo Zulu, Pip, as we are winding down here for our show number 579, special live to tape year-end show. And I thought we should probably have a little bit of correct or crutonic, because we've not had one in a while. And I want to thank Jody Joseph. Jody Joseph was an old high school college girlfriend of mine.
Oh yeah.
Jody, I'm talking. Where'd that come from? Her dad was president of the Playboy Foundation. Worked for Hugh Hefner. I was really impressed. She was from Evanston, Illinois, and freshman year at Michigan, we were a thing.
Oh.
And she was a cool, smart gal.
Yeah.
Jody Joseph. But I'm not talking about Jody Joseph. I'm talking about Jody Baby Shark Shields, who I've texted with as well this week. And hope, Jody, you're having a great end of your year down there. He's one of the great personalities. Great. If anybody needs a commentator, or especially for a live event, he is fantastic. Now, I ask you if this video from SailGP is correct or crutonic. Now, the name of the video it's their year-end video. This is what they've just issued in the last couple days. It's called the Top 5 Crashes, not just from this year, but from the last, I guess, couple of years. There are some crashes in here from season 2. And I ask you, is this video correct or Crutonic? Now, it's not just the crashes, but watch the way the sailors interact with the crashes after the fact here on video.
Why you got to stand so close?
Copenhagen, yeah, British running aground.
Yeah, Copenhagen. Oh. Oh.
Oh, jeepers. Ooh. Ouch. There's definitely something you don't want to do, hitting a rock.
It's a pretty shocking moment for the team because it knocked us out of the competition.
Yeah, it was some pretty big damage, so yeah, I think it was a good waking up call for the whole fleet to study our charts.
Oh, the foil's just completely shredded.
A big thing now, 3 F50s touching the ground. When you see also someone like Ben Ainslie making those mistakes, you see that it's something that can happen to everyone at the same time.
Big left DK, here we go. Little Bill. No, I don't know where to go yet. Come on.
That's probably my scariest moment in sailing.
I think this is the definition of sandwich.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'd say we're the meat in the sandwich.
Oh God, Kiwis.
Yeah, you can hear it, like, I mean, all the team was screaming.
Oh, I hope that never happens to me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, this is a dangerous situation.
Oh, jeepers. That's good action.
That was difficult because Ben is also coming full speed on starboard, so I decided to crash Pete and not Ben, because the crash with Ben can be a disaster.
Okay, that's us. I've seen a lot this one now.
Oh, that's scary. I have PTSD from this. I'm scared this is gonna happen to us someday.
I can't comment on this one.
Yeah, wow, that was a big one.
Again, they had a calm, great calm.
You can see that we have our usual behavior to scream and try to say something to the other boat, but it's not possible.
I can only imagine how bad Geordie felt in that moment, thinking he might have knocked out USA from the $1 million race, but fortunately they were able to race.
Wow, yeah. I didn't see him, no? Jimmy says, but yeah, it was obviously our biggest crash, and yeah, something that I think we learned a lot.
Oh, I know this one.
Oh my.
Oh. It's funny hearing Chris's voice, because I'm so used to it now.
Wow, 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 wow.
Oh, I think that's one of the worst ones.
Yeah, our old mate Nathan, we didn't see Jimmy. That was the first thing I told him when he was driving our boat, was like, just look for starboards, don't crash.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that one never gets old.
Yeah, we had a pretty good view of this one actually, and you never like to see boats come together.
Wow, that was strong.
Poof. Oh my God, they had to lift the boat off? I didn't know that.
He made a mistake, you know, he got sort of Des in the headlight, he didn't know whether to tack, dark, and then that took up precious time. and then left him really with an option that he just reacted too late, unfortunately.
At the moment with 19 seconds to go, I think Alfred's in there. Oh my, no, the British crew crashed, they got no rights there, lost control of the boat.
You tend to show me the same teams in most of the videos here in terms of crashing and collisions.
Whooshka.
So this was the big collision that we were involved in. When you watch it back, of course it's frustrating. There's plenty of woulda, coulda, shoulda moments in there, but it is what it is. You try and learn from it. As I said, that was a very difficult situation where we just didn't see the boat till it was far too late.
We actually hit the French trying to get through the gap to lure to them.
I think this probably has been obviously not the biggest crash on SailGP.
Oh, that's a race ender.
The sound of this crash was unbelievable, to be honest.
This moment I actually completely understand. This was a late afternoon in Sydney, and the sun was right in the position where Japan are. I remember in practice, there was one time Japan was coming up at us, a white boat, and they were right in the sun. It was very hard to see them. So I do totally understand how that happened, and now SailGP has changed the way we do things to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Man, it's tough.
But same problem is due to the blind spot in the wing.
Good watching, eh?
You're kind of wondering, like, why was this not obvious that there was a boat there? But like live in the boat, there are so many blind spots, like with the wing being there, that yeah, you really need someone looking to leeward.
That's why the women are important as a sixth sailor.
Yeah, that was some big crashes. Definitely a lot of damage caused.
Okay, Julia, is that video correct or croutonic? Is it what you were expecting when you heard it was a top 5 crashes of the?
It's what I was expecting, but I fear it focuses on the worst.
But is it correct or croutonic? If that's their year-end wrap-up video, is it correct or croutonic?
I'm not a crash fan, so
You're not. So you're a traditionalist. You'd rather see who won what races and what the score is at this point in the season, not these crashes.
or even some really slick moves, but not necessarily
all crashes.
All crashes.
Well, when I saw the headline, I went away thinking, "Oh, this is going to be croutonic," and then I watched the video, and now this is the second time I've seen the video, and I like it even more the second time. Having and there's a whole trend on TikTok videos, and I mean, I don't watch TikTok videos, so how would I know? But no, on YouTube videos, TikTok videos, and social media, so-called reaction videos.
Mm-hmm.
And people will sit there and watch themselves doing something.
Mm-hmm.
It might be, something cool. It might be something funny. It might be porn. It might be whatever, but it's a reaction to whatever they're doing in the video. And I really liked it. It featured all those kids. I mean, kids, all the sailors. Most of them are kids. Some of them are a little bit older, but I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was correct. It'll be interesting to see because we're live to tape. I'll tell you what, I don't like doing this live to tape. I like having the comments and you're watching them on your screen and I'm watching them over here. We're talking to everybody.
Yep.
And it's a lot more fun when they're here, right?
It is, no question.
We are 59 minutes into this show, this live to tape show number 579. For Friday the 30th, we're taping it Thursday afternoon the 29th because I'm traveling tomorrow. And we hope you're enjoying it and we're airing it at the regular time. Julia, you look fantastic in your gold lame. I went up to check on Julia earlier today, and when I did, I saw she had this gold lame, beautiful blouse on or dress, or what do you call it, a blouse, I guess. You got black pants on.
Yeah.
And I said, God, I better not just wear my normal thing.
And you did get dressed up. You look terrific.
So I put my tux on, and I found Meg's. You don't know this maybe, but you may have seen it. But this was the scarf that was over the back of your chair with your headset when you were in the convalescent home. And I grabbed that, thinking I better have something gold.
Yes.
To go with you.
It looks good.
And go with the champagne.
You look good.
So, and this tux, by the way,
yes,
is from 1997. Melbourne, Australia, and it still fits. Now, I may have had the pants let out once or twice. I don't remember.
Yeah. But that's when you arrived
We arrived for the 97, the first Formula One Grand Prix of the year in Melbourne, and we found out, the McLaren team found out that there was a black tie diener that night. We didn't know. We hadn't brought our tuxes. And one of our sponsors was, of course, Hugo Boss. And they immediately took the senior members over. We went over to the Hugo Boss store, fitted us with these beautiful double-breasted tuxedos.
They are gorgeous.
And now they're back in style. It's so long ago, the double-breasted tuxes are
it's
back in style.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, we got to say something about the America's Cup, and I'm going to say only this. I'm going to behave myself, not say anything more than I did on Tuesday's show, which was to say I thought this decision to move it to Barcelona was the low point of the sport this year. If Pip Hare was the high point, this was the low point. I'm sorry that they did it. I predict, this is my only 2023 prediction. And there's, by the way, there's no other videos. There was some tweet from Ben Ainsley maybe that I didn't put, but no other videos. Nothing has been issued from the ACE, America's Cup event, that I've seen. Now, certainly they haven't sent it to me if they have issued it, and I scour all the YouTube channels and so on. But I predict in 2023, and particularly in 2024, this decision is going to come back to bite them in the keister. They're going to regret running this event in Barcelona. I don't know why for sure. I have some ideas. But I think they're going to regret it. Enough of the America's Cup. That's your AC37 Cup date and predictions for the future, and
I just hope it doesn't bode for the future.
Well, the cup is always going to be fine. Everybody says, "Well, don't you think this is going to?" It's been involved since '80, so that's 20, 40 years, 42 years in one capacity or another. And everybody says, "Well, this is going to be the end of the cup. It's going to wreck the cup." No, it's not. It'll be another chapter.
Yep.
It'll be another intrigue.
Reset.
And I am not worried about this wrecking the cup per se.
No.
Cup will survive. It is the pinnacle event in our sport, and I don't see it ever being anything else but.
Right. I agree with that.
You agree with that?
So far.
Gets us to the D block, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. And I thought, in honor of the end of the year and all of our FOSI and all of what they're starting to call this show, I thought we'd just run one little funny, and this courtesy of Stingray. I think I've run it before. It's an oldie but goodie. Dave Barry, the columnist from, I think, the Miami Herald, where he was writing. He's written several hilarious books, and he says, how to sail a sailboat. Figure out where you want to go, whichever way it is. Do not aim the sailboat in that direction.
I know that's the hardest thing to learn.
Aim the sailboat some other direction. Trust me, this is the way sailboaters do it. And finally, they are, you can read that.
They're heavy drinkers.
They're heavy drinkers. And thanks to Stingray for sending that. But of course, you all, I hope you're not having a drinking competition without us, although we're having a glass. The drinking show with a sailing problem. Yes, some of you began to call it this year as we talk about alcohol. So I hope you all have a great New Year's Eve and drink responsibly. Obviously, everybody should. I think we have a pretty sober group on here, actually. One can only hope. That brings us to the finish line, which we ran this shot on Tuesday. A lot of you like this. This is from the 2018 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race. There you can see the finish, the buoy there, the yellow buoy, and the mast of, I think, the committee boat at the other end. Finish line in Hobart. I have two more Christmas cards that came in since Tuesday that I thought we should air from auspicious clubs in Europe. I'm proud to be a founding member of the Gstaad Yacht Club in Switzerland. And this was founded in 98, I think. So we've been at it for a while. Beautiful card. It's a classy place. If you ever get to Gstaad to go skiing or whatever, or better yet, if your club wants to go participate in the Gstaad Yacht Club's annual ski yachting competition, they ski on Mount Egli during the day and then go into the local Schwimmbad, the pool, the swimming pool, with radio-controlled yachts donated by Bill Koch with fans at the end of the swimming pool and match race up and down the pool with an umpire running up and down the pool. It's been going on, and it's a hoot.
Yeah.
And the scoring is good. It's really a lot of fun. I commend it to
it's very fun.
you. Stad Yacht Club. And then this is the best. It's a Christmas card, a video Christmas card. It's the best one I got. Sailing related. Well, anything, sailing or otherwise.
Yeah.
Time for family and love. Time to give thanks and gifts. Merry Christmas from the Yacht Club de Monaco.
Oh, good.
What do you think of that?
Perfect.
Classy organization?
Absolutely.
It is a classy organization.
It
and
is.
thanks for sending me the card. They actually, our Gestad Yacht Club, you don't say Gestad unless you're a hick from Michigan like I am. You say Stad. The G is almost silent. But we are twin. We run a lot of our events at YCM. So it's a cool place. If you ever get a chance to go there.
I've gone, not to the newest one, though.
Well, the new one is fabulous. And
I
it's,
know.
The way they can afford to pay for it, among other, the Principality being very wealthy and affluent. And His Serene Highness is the Commodore. He's the President of Honor. They don't call him the Commodore, the President of Honor. And he's often there for events. I mean, if you're there for a prize giving or something, he may come and do the awards.
Yeah.
But the reason they can afford to have such a nice place is because it is the paddock club for the Monaco Grand Prix. It's where the VIPs all hang out, and the entertainment goes on up on the top deck of what is now the new club that looks like a big cruise ship. It's fabulous. That's a club you probably aren't going to get into, even if you're a member of New York or the Royal Yacht Squadron.
Well, we know people who are members, though.
Oh, we do. We know the GM very well. Caird's a member, for example.
Yeah.
Now you and I could probably get in, and a few other people probably can, but that 385 doesn't buy you a Starbucks.
I know.
But what a fabulous club, and I
It
think
is.
I think you would agree that was a fabulous video Christmas card.
Perfect.
Julia,
Perfect.
you're a witness.
Yes. Great opportunity to like, follow, and share. And I rediscovered the other day that one of your ticks on doing so is to share to friends, and there's a whole huge area of friends.
Well, that's where you want to share it to your page, and then you can also share it to the pages of friends if you have access to them.
Yeah.
Julia, I think it's a nice way to wrap up and to say that comments are welcome too, even in replay. And of course, that's where the only comments are going to be because this is
time.
live to tape today. I'll watch it probably tomorrow. I'm going to be on the road, and maybe by 1 o'clock our time, I might even be up there, and we'll have a look. And Julie, are you going to watch it live tomorrow, or watch it when it airs tomorrow at 1300 Friday?
Yeah, probably.
And you can comment because it's good if you can watch in case somebody puts some dodgy comments in.
Okay.
There. You never know. Become a patron, please. Help keep us on the air. Become a patron via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. Julia, our last show of the year. You look great. Thank you for all you've done for us over the now 5.5 years that we've been at this.
Yes. Nobody can believe we've done 796.
Well, it was fun in the convalescent home when I'd come over there on Wednesdays and Sundays and say, we got to get her out of here because, she's the co-host for my television. What do you mean co-host for a television show? Yes.
Yes, yes.
We do 2 live television shows worldwide on the internet.
Yes.
Thousands of views.
All of which is true.
You're kidding me. No, come on. And then Julie would pull out her cell phone and she'd show it to the nurse or the orderly or somebody.
Oh.
Thanks to everybody who gave us again today audio, video, images for today's show. Julie, the last word to you.
Oh, let's greet the new year with open arms.
And let's thank all the FOSI,
yes,
the regulars on here. The
absolutely.
People. I went back and looked at the list of people who've been on the show this year.
Yeah.
And it was just too long to list them all.
Yeah.
Put them into a scroll or something. But, I mean, we've got the cool people in the sport and then some.
Yes.
And we really appreciate all the support that you all give us.
And by we also give them support by airing.
You bet.
And I like that.
And we've got some cool things coming up next month. In the first month of the year, January, we got Hamish Ross and Brian Willis coming on to talk about sportsmanship in a couple weeks. We've got Captain Jack, John Schaefer, coming on to talk about the rescue swimmer thing that the Ministry of Sailing is doing. We hope you won't miss any of those shows. If you can't watch them live, watch them in replay as you're doing today. You're watching this live to tape.
Works.
So thanks, Julia. Thanks, everybody else. We hope you have a great New Year and the New Year's celebration. We'll see you live on Tuesday. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun.
Here's to you.
Ah! Almost knocked my glass over. Sound like a girl. Here's to you, Julia. And here's to all the folks once again.
And the folks.